In this video, we are going to talk about what a great day that UConn women's basketball had, as it definitely appears like Paige Bueckers is very much leaning like she is coming back to UConn in the 24-25 season. We will discuss this as well as the implications that it might have for the UConn roster next season as well. If you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a like. All right, let's get into this. So it was pregame press conferences, if you like. First, Gino went, and he was in a very, very good mood. Basically, he likes the team that he has. He knows that it doesn't mean they aren't going to lose again, and they might not have enough, but he feels like they have found their identity. They know who they are. They're a tough little team. And it seems like they have figured out how to play with Paige Bueckers, as she is such a dynamic player. It takes a while to figure out how to play with her. He loves his true freshmen. They're all coachable and can take his S as well. Ice Brady appears to be making progress, and he even envisions him playing double bigs with her and Edwards together at some point this season. And then during the press conference, he was throwing flowers at Bueckers, and at one point was asking on what she needed to improve on or something like that. And he's like, it'd always be good if, she probably needs to come back for another year just to further tighten her game. And then gave a big cheesy grin.
And I'm proud of her. She's probably one more college year away from really, really getting it. So, it's a start.
But then as well, following that, Bueckers was interviewed for pregame, and they asked her about Gino's comments as well. Another reporter asked how the season-ending injuries to her teammates would impact on her decision to return or not. And she was quite clear that would be the main driving factor in her decision. Now, if you've watched my channel, I thought LA might play a big part in her wanting to go to the WNBA, as the sponsorship deals and opportunities would be massive in a big LA market. But she is quite clear and adamant it's not about the teams in the draft.
A factor is, wanting to do something with AZ and with Aubrey, and the fact that both of them could be back next year. Does that make any difference to you at all?
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. It's not about teams in the draft, who's got what pick. It's all about me loving playing here, me loving my teammates, and wanting to get more experiences and more time with them and more time in the program. And so that's, I think, the deciding factor, just wanting to be here longer and not anything necessarily that's already picked and chosen in the draft.
So if you are a UConn fan, you have to be elated. These last 2 years for UConn fan has been a lot like Andy Dufresne trying to get out of Shawshank. First, your generational star player gets injured even before the season started. Now she's finally healthy and recovering well, and then everybody's falling down around her. But then, just like the movie City Slickers, when the guy Phil, I think his name was, when his life's falling apart and it seems like he's about to do drastic action, his buddies go and talk to him, and they talk him in that your life is a do-over.
Your life is a do-over.
And well, UConn fan, it looks like you are going to get a do-over in 2024-25, as it seems like Paige Bueckers is keen to come back to UConn and play with her buddies and run it one last time in hopes of getting a championship, or maybe two if they're able to win it this year. Now, obviously, you are elated if a Paige Bueckers wants to return back to UConn, but this does cause massive roster chaos, as right now they don't, well, until they know who's coming back and who's going. But just to be clear on one point, because there's been some discussion on this, Aaliyah Edwards, Nika Mule, and Aubrey Griffin are all eligible to come back next year. This is due to the extra COVID year. It is confirmed. They all can come back. As well, AZ Fudd could declare for the 2024 draft, but she's already said that she's coming back. That was even prior to her knee injury. And now with her knee injury, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that she is returning. As well, it definitely appears that Aubrey Griffin has sustained a major knee injury. It appears ACL. That should be confirmed tomorrow. And if it is confirmed, you would think that she would definitely return to UConn to fully rehab her knee and then show for scouts for the WNBA and Europe that she is fully recovered. Now, Aaliyah Edwards has not said what she's going to do. Well, nobody's really confirmed what they're doing, but most of the speculation with Aaliyah Edwards seems to be that she will go into the WNBA draft. The one that is very, very interesting is Nika Mule. I think much like Bueckers, I think she is very focused on winning a national championship and would come back for another year to play with her buddy Paige Bueckers and Fudd as well and try to complete the mission. Now, it seems that UConn fans have an interesting relationship with Mule. They love her because she plays hard. There's no doubt about that. But as well, I imagine she drives them crazy at times because she'll throw that pass for a terrible turnover and you're like, what are you thinking? But to her credit, since UConn's gone on this recent win streak over the last 5 games, she has played a lot better since the 7 turnover game. I can't remember. I think that was Louisville where she had the 7 turnovers. Her shot is improving and more steady, and it's been a big damn adjustment for her. As last year, she always had the ball in her hands, but this year she has to play off Bueckers and basically be a catch and shooter, and she's playing well. I think most fans would agree with that. But she really holds a lot of the keys to the potential roster next year, as they potentially have 13 or 14 returning players. Basically, Paige Bueckers, KK, Fudd, Betancourt, Shade, Griffin, Samuel, as well. In the front court, they would have El Alfie, DeBerry, and Ice Brady. Caroline Ducharme as well, although I don't know if she's going to be like a medical, are they going to try another run with her returning or not? But as far as we know, she would be returning next year. So if Mule returns, that would give them 13. If Edwards was to decide to return, that would give them 14. I don't know what the hell they would do at that point, because they have 2 new recruits coming in, Zabel and Morgan Chelly. So with those 2, that would get 16. So it's a crazy roster situation. You would figure, like I said, Edwards will probably go to the WNBA draft. If Mule and Ducharme are able to play next year or do return next year, then that really limits their flexibility in terms of being able to go to the transfer portal, or even potentially, I don't see how they would be able to bring in Sarah Strong. They don't have the roster spots. And again, unless there's sort of a backroom deal or they know somebody's not returning at this stage. Interesting enough, after the NCAA announced the extra COVID year, Gino was one of the first to come out and say, ooh, I'm not so sure about that, saying you're going to have some seniors go, hey, I want to stay. And then you've got a coach going like, I wasn't planning on you staying. Now what are you going to do? Turn the kid out? And it appears that he might be in that situation. It'll be very interesting going forward. But ultimately, the good news is potentially generational player Paige Bueckers is returning. I'm sure they'll figure out all these details in due course, but it will be interesting watching these cards play out. Thanks for watching. As always, poison, thoughts, comments, always welcome. Please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Good night.